so this counseling session, I'm meeting with my client, Mia. This is my first time seeing her. Mia, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good. So before we get started, I just wanted to go over some confidentiality issues with you. What's said today between us in here will stay between us unless you give an inclination that you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So just wanted to cover that. Or unless anybody else that you know is being abused, like any kids or elderly, then I would have to report it as my job. But besides that, whatever we say in here is going to stay between us.
Okay, perfect.
Do you have any questions before we start?
No.
Okay, so what brings you in today?
Well, I want a divorce from my husband.
Okay.
I've been married for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But he's gay. And I knew that he was gay when we got married, but he was like being groomed to take over the family business.
Mm-hmm.
I met him in college, so I just basically did him a favor.
Okay.
But like we're not doing anything. It's not benefiting me in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just worried about how it will affect him and how it will affect me, because
Right.
I don't want anybody to know that I already knew what was going on with
Mm-hmm.
him. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I can understand the severity and complexity of that situation, especially now that it might be coming to a head and now this secret might be exposed. But let's start at the beginning. What motivated you to go along with this idea?
Well, we were really close friends in college,
Mm-hmm.
and when he approached me with the idea, I was just starting my graduate program,
Mm-hmm.
so I figured whatever, I don't plan on getting married really during this time because
Mm-hmm.
I'm in school and I have a lot going on, so it's like, yeah, sure, that's fine, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think it was a good idea.
You don't think it was a good idea, but at the time you did because you saw, it's not that you saw the positives, but you didn't see the negatives,
Mm-hmm.
it sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
And then, would you like to further elaborate? What else?
Well, I knew that he wanted to take over the company,
Mm-hmm.
and the family is very religious,
Okay.
and so it was just not gonna happen if he told them he was gay.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, I'm looking to date
Mm-hmm.
for real,
For real? Mm-hmm.
and I can't just be out there telling people, yeah, I'm married.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Now, you guys went through a real ceremony and everything? You guys really got married?
No. Got married at the courthouse.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But there's legal documentation showing that you guys are legally bound to marriage?
Yes.
Okay. So, over the course of the marriage,
Mm-hmm.
was it good in the beginning? Did something go awry? Or?
No. Everything was good. We're like two best friends living in the same house.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm about to finish the program and I'm just looking to do other things, I'd like to move.
Mm-hmm. You'd like to, physically move?
Like out of this state to
okay.
another state.
Mm-hmm.
For better opportunities in working,
Mm-hmm.
lower cost of living,
right.
And just I've grown up here my whole life, so I just need like a different view.
Okay.
But the company is here,
right?
So
it sounds like you might be looking for a fresh start altogether,
mm-hmm.
because this is your home state, this is where you grew up, and as far as this incident's concerned, this is where this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you would be running away from your problems, but you want to close this chapter
mm-hmm.
before you move on to the next in another state.
Yeah.
Do I have that right? Am I reflecting that correctly? Okay. Where in the process did it go bad? Because it sounds like both of you guys were on board initially with the idea. You both found some benefit, at least for the gentleman, if not for you, at least for his sake.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, you were a caring friend before anything else, so you didn't want to see his family turn their back on him,
mm-hmm.
or him not be handed the family business like he was in line to do. So when did it start to go bad? Or when did the discord start to happen?
When he got a boyfriend.
And how did that come about?
We went to Italy
mm-hmm.
like a year ago.
Okay.
And randomly he meets this guy who's from here, but it was during the holidays,
mm-hmm.
blah blah blah. So that's when that all started. So
Mhm.
now I'm just like, well, this is stupid. Like,
The whole idea. That's when it was
yeah.
that kind of like your epiphany moment.
Yeah, like I was already like holding the secret,
Mhm.
but I didn't have anybody. He didn't have anybody.
Mhm.
Now he has somebody. I'm like, just you're grown. Like,
Right.
go handle you're already in charge of the company.
Mhm.
Let's just end this,
Mhm.
and you do what you need to do.
Mhm.
So
Okay. I can understand how tough of a situation that would be. So it sounds like once he met this gentleman in Italy, but though he's from America, it's kind of like the light bulb went off. Like, okay, my use in this situation is of no more value, so I should remove myself from this situation, which I commend you for because at least you were able to recognize when you would want to be removed from the situation before it got too bad or too muddled or the family got involved and then they start looking at you like, oh, you didn't know. So I commend you for your honesty with yourself and with the situation. So then continue to tell me what happened after that.
Well, he started like taking more vacations, and the family is like, "Oh, where is he? Like, what's he doing? Is he at a conference?" And typically, I don't lie, but I mean, obviously, I'm involved in a very big lie, but I don't. I try not to make a regular practice of it, and it gets hard when you have to like keep track of your lies.
Yeah, you have to keep track of your lies.
So I say, like, if he is in the Bahamas or whatever, and I say he's at a conference up north, then when he gets back, or his family's calling him like, "Oh, how was the conference?" He's like, "What? What are you talking about?" Or "How was San Francisco?" And he was like, "I was in the Bahamas." Like, so it's just too much, and I don't have time for that.
Okay. Now, does his family call it out that you're not with him on vacation? Do they bring that up, or they just want to purely know where he's at?
No, they're just saying like if they call the house and they're like asking how I'm doing and how we're doing, and they'll say like, "Oh, is he there?" And I'm like, "No, he's out of town."
Okay.
So.
So you did in effect actually live together while you were married? Okay. So you guys did the full on marriage.
I mean,
thing.
It was a 3-bedroom house.
Did you guys sleep in the same room?
No.
No. Okay. Now, during this time that you guys were married, did any uncomfortable feelings come up? During this process, did you feel like maybe I made the wrong decision before Italy, or were you on board and just?
No, I was okay.
Okay. And why do you think you're okay? Were you busy with other things?
Yeah.
Or? So you're preoccupied. That's why you didn't have time.
Out of sight, out of mind. I'm only engaging with him really when we're around other people. So if there's like a company event or some press event or or family function or something like that. But when we're at home, I do my thing and he does his thing.
Okay. And during this whole time, you two have been pretty much in accord with each other because you guys, even though you're married on the surface, on a deeper level, you guys are still living separate lives cohesively and cohabitating since you're in the same environment. But he has his agenda, you have yours, and those always stayed separate, correct? Okay. So yeah, this is a really, really difficult situation for you to be in, so I can understand it. How does the family feel towards you?
They love me.
They love you? And how do you think they would feel if this, not necessarily the marriage secret was exposed, but his sexuality? Do you think they would turn to you?
I think that they would feel sympathy for me. Especially if they knew that he had a boyfriend and he was living a quote unquote double life on vacation. But then when if they found out that I knew,
then it would be a different tone, you think?
It could go either way. It could be that some of his family, that they come to resent me because I lied to them this whole time. Or they will be able to understand the predicament that he was in and understand why he did what he did and why...
You did what you did because you're just trying to protect a friend. Yeah. At the end of the day, you don't want to put anybody out there that's not ready to be out there. You don't want to expose any secrets that aren't ready to be exposed. So that is a tough spot to be in. I would hope, as a person that's usually pretty loving and caring and wants the best for other people, that they would accept that you did that for him, not necessarily for selfish reasons, but for him. So yeah, I can understand how that would be a difficult thing. throughout all this whole process, what are you trying to gain for yourself now, amongst all this?
Like you said before, a fresh start. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be in this town and have like risk people finding out or
Mm-hmm.
have to tell people like, oh, I'm married or but my husband's gay, so it really doesn't count or things like
Right.
that. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go somewhere where I don't know anybody because this is this is a big city, but it's really small,
Mm-hmm.
and especially when you're in a certain group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So that part is more about me
Okay.
wanting to just break away from the familiar
Right.
and having a chance to like be somebody else. Like I don't want to do this ever again for anybody.
Okay.
Like I was nice, but now it's my turn to do something for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I just noticed you said you don't you wanna be somebody else. You said.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about that a little bit more. So so are you looking to recreate yourself, or you're just looking to be yourself in a different place, in a different setting?
A little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
So who I've always been, which probably won't change if I go to another setting,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd like to think that it will,
Mm-hmm.
is someone that is so nice
Mm-hmm.
that they do stuff like marry their friend for 3 years knowingly
Mm-hmm.
so that they can do what they need to do.
Right.
So in another setting, hopefully, where people don't know me,
Mm-hmm.
the slate is wiped clean.
Right.
And I can still be nice, but people don't know that I'm that type of person.
Right.
Like that nice of a
Okay.
person.
So here in your home state, people know who you are.
Yes.
They know Mia. They know how she is. They know how she always has been. But in another state, if you move, you want people to get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
So then it sounds like you would have more autonomy and control over how you're perceived. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's your association with this setting as far as your home state? Like, do you associate it with a good vibe? Is it a bad vibe? Is it somewhere
good.
you want to run from or stay at times?
In certain situations, I do want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily running from anything,
Mhm.
but like on the way over here, the 405 was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I need to move. Too many people here.
I've done that too plenty of times.
So times like that,
Mhm.
but it really is just about like venturing out
Okay.
because I don't want to be like stagnant. And
Okay. So a part of you, it sounds like a part of you also wants to get a fresh start for you, not necessarily to get away from this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I didn't mean to use the phrase running from, but you don't. It's not like you're looking for an escape. You just want a fresh start
Mm-hmm.
in a different place, kind of recharge the battery, get you excited again about your career endeavors or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I understand that and I commend that because at times I've wanted to do that as well, but with my profession, I can't abandon my clients. So most of me wants to stay here, but part of me has wanted to leave before, so I can understand how that would put you in a tough spot. How do you feel towards this family?
I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, if all of this happens,
Mm-hmm.
we can remain close, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, the only thing that will change is this ring will be off.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else, hopefully, will stay the same.
Okay. And how would that make you feel if you guys were able to remain close?
Good.
Good. So ideally, that's how you would want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think that would be possible, knowing how religious his family is? Do you think that would be a realistic possibility?
Are you asking?
I'm asking if this secret were to come out, do you think his family would want you guys to be friends, or would they want you to be?
I think they would want us to be friends.
Mm-hmm. Because it sounds like they really care and value you as a person and what you think and how you feel,
mm-hmm.
which is good.
I think they would want us to be friends. I think at that point it would need to be about me, though. Honestly,
Maybe more about him, as it should be. I
Yeah.
think, considering he's the focus point of this matter. Okay. So, just to sum it up, right now you're in a tough spot because this secret is getting closer to being exposed. And it sounds like might be some great upheaval if certain people find out about this situation. And once again, you want a fresh start. You want to get away and remove yourself from the situation before the S word hits the fan, for lack of a better phrase, or before people start looking at you in a different light. Because you've been here your whole life. You obviously have a solid reputation up to this point. If that foundation was shaken, it sounds like that would shake your whole world. And considering you're at a point in your life now where I know you want a fresh start and you possibly looking into starting your career or a new career or whatever the case may be, that would be the worst case situation. So if this situation is to come out, it sounds like you just want it to go as smoothly as possible. And we want to just minimize the damage on you because that's why you're here. You want to figure out how to get out of this situation as clean as possible. So the struggle in there is trying to figure out how we can do that, because we know how religious his family is. We know that if they find out that you actually knew and were withholding this secret, that might change their view of you. And that would have some effect on you, because like you said, you love the family, they love you. You don't want to ruffle any feathers. At the end of the day, you just want them to know that you were helping out a friend, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we think we can do that? And therein lies the dilemma.
Oh, well, that's what I'm paying you the big bucks for.
Right, but that's why I said we, so then we can figure it out. Because I'm here, it's a collaborative effort. I'm not going to put it all on you. So if you have some ideas, if you have one idea, we could try to bounce them back against each other, or... I can see the consternation on your face. Well, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Maybe I should bring him in to see his thoughts, like to find out his thoughts.
I think that would be a good idea.
Because I've kind of hinted at it, but I haven't said like, okay, I'm like this close, and I don't want to do anything this drastic without him knowing,
right?
Because it will affect him. So that probably would be the first thing I want to do, is just like bring him
into therapy. Okay.
Safe space.
Yeah, it's a safe space where the judgment is non-existent, where we're just trying to problem solve. That's the only thing we're trying to do.
Yeah. So.
How do you think he would react to that if you suggested the thought of coming into therapy and voicing his inner concerns? Because obviously there's some concerns because his family is still in the dark. So.
I think that he would be afraid more than anything.
And why do you think he'd be afraid?
Because his secret, like, he doesn't necessarily have to tell them. If we get a divorce, he can say whatever he wants. But I think that while that's like the perfect setup to say what's really going on, but he will be afraid to walk through that door because
of the judgment.
You cannot turn back.
Right.
So, but it's like, if you want to live your best life, you want to be happy, then you have to do it. So that would probably be the only emotion that he feels. Like, I don't think he would be upset with me. Probably be very understanding, but he would be very afraid.
Okay. Because if he's really a good friend, like you say he is, then he would understand that you would only be bringing him in for his benefit, not for yours, not for his family's, but so that he can work out whatever he needs to work out before he decides to come out, or before he decides to tell his family his sexual orientation. Because when religion comes into play, I understand that could be a very, very heavy situation. Twice, maybe 3 times as heavy if religion weren't involved. So it sounds like a good idea for you to at least pass it by him to see what he thinks about it, because I'd be more than willing to counsel both you guys, or to bring him in one time so we can have a dual session just to see how he feels, because I think having you here while him and I would be working on stuff would be very comforting to him, because he knows you're the first person involved in the situation. You know firsthand everything that he's going through and has been through, and that'll maybe get him more comfortable and willing to come out to his family when the time is right, because he's not going to do it unless he feels the time is right. So I can understand. I think that would be a good idea. Well, since you have that idea, what about gauging his interest to see, has he thought about telling his family and what kind of setting? You know,
In
I,
a
I would.
perfect world,
Hmm.
he has thought about it,
Hmm.
but then that idea quickly,
Vanishes.
yes, into
Hmm.
thin air, because his mom, like, it will break her heart.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because he's the only boy. He has
He has sisters.
2 older sisters
Hmm.
and 1 younger sister.
Hmm.
And, like, basically the bloodline stops with him.
Yeah, he's the only chance for.
Yeah. So.
Male recreation. I know sisters can have kids.
Yes, I mean, well, they'll have a different last name.
Exactly. So yeah, the namesake can only be carried on through him, and if they find out his sexual orientation, that could rock the family to the core. So
I mean, he can definitely still adopt kids or surrogate mother. Then that's like a whole nother can of worms. But yeah. So.
Well, I can see just the minor struggle you're having sharing all of this information. But once again, I wanted to commend you for saying all this. I can see the strength that you're portraying and being there for your friend and trying to juggle all of these people's needs, including your own. And it sounds like up to this point, you've done a good job of it. We just want to make sure you continue to do a good job before the stress starts to weigh on you. Because obviously you came in here today on your own accord. A couple of months from now, if this kept going on, who knows? He could have referred you in here or suggested that you come in here, or any other scenario worse than this. So I wanted to commend you on your strength and just let you know that I think the situation will work itself out. Just talk to him and see what he wants to do. I agree with running it by him to see if he wants to come in here. But as another idea, I would like you to ask him, if you were to come out to your family, what would the best case scenario be? Like, if it was the best situation, what would happen? Where would it be? Just to get an idea of what he needs and what he's looking for. And as far as that involves you, see where you would play into that perfect scenario. Would you be there? Would you call ahead of time to tell him, hey, we're coming over, we got some big news, get everybody, just to see how you can help, because you've helped the situation up to this point because you've kept his big secret for all this time. How long have you kept this secret for him?
We met freshman year. How old was I? Like 11 years.
Yeah, that's heavy. Since keeping this secret, have you noticed any health changes in you specifically, or?
Not within the last 11. Well, not within the last 10. But I would say within the last year.
What's been happening?
My hair started falling out, and I love my hair because it is amazing. But that's what I had on today.
Okay.
So when I have it usually it's not pulled back. But yeah.
Any other health concerns? Any other changes physiologically that you've seen?
I tend to get headaches.
And this is through the last year as well? Okay.
Yeah. I rarely ever got headaches before, but I think with this situation, and because I wasn't able to have a candid conversation with him, now I'm holding a secret.
Right.
Now I'm holding 2 secrets.
And now it's manifesting itself in the hair loss and the headaches. So over this past year, it sounds like it's really starting to weigh on you. Now, has this last year brought you into here today?
Yes.
Kind of like a culmination of this past year. It's just, do you feel like you're at a breaking point or that you're nearing one?
Not too near. But
you're getting closer.
Yeah, I definitely feel like if I don't do something, it won't be good for anybody.
Okay. What would the best case scenario be for you for this whole situation? How would that work?
That we are able to go our separate ways, still be friends, and that his family would learn to accept him. I know it won't be just at that moment, but hopefully they'll be able to come around. And that he's able to live the life that he really wants to live.
That's good. Just from what you told me, I can see the selflessness in you, and the altruism in you, because you want everybody else to be okay. What would work out best for Mia to be okay? For him to be okay? Or what?
Yeah.
Like, expound upon that a little bit more. So, what would make Mia happy at the end of this situation, best case scenario?
For things to work out for him, because with or without him, I'm not in a position of I don't really need him for anything. So if I'm able to move, I can pretty much work anywhere with the career that I have. So it's not like, I'm going to be stressed out over not being able to afford a place to live or not being able to find a job or anything like that. It really is, at the end of the day, more so about him because he's 33. And probably, I met him freshman year of college, but this has probably been going on for him since he was like 12. So that's a long time.
More than half his life.
Yeah.
That's a heavy situation to deal with for that long, especially on your own. And family-wise, because of course, do you know if you're the only friend who knows?
There's one other person.
Okay, but yeah, to hold it, for only two people, between three people to hold one secret for 20 plus years, that's heavy. That's heavy. But again, I want to thank you for coming in here today to discuss this. Is there anything I can do to help you more in this situation? I know it's only our first session, but...
No, but I feel comfortable with you, so thank you.
Okay. If nothing else, hopefully just talking about it for now in the beginning stages will get you to feel more comfortable and more at ease, and hopefully the somatic physical symptoms that your stress has been manifesting itself in subside, and hopefully your hair grows back and that, the headaches go away, because at the end of the day, you're just doing this for a friend. There are no selfish motives in this, or motivations or reasonings to do what you're doing. So that's a tall order to have to hold up, especially for 11 years. I know you couldn't have foreseen marrying this gentleman, but I'm pretty sure that heightened the anxiety. And the fact that you still went along with it for him is commendable. I mean, I don't know anybody as selfless as you are, so I have to commend you on that. But at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that you're okay because you're in here, but that he's okay as well, which is why I appreciate the idea of you suggesting that he come in, because you two are a team in this. Whatever he comes out with, the family's going to look at you possibly in the same way, because, hey, you've been married, however many years, you didn't know? So I can understand the hesitance you have. Have you ever thought about telling the family?
Yes, but...
In what circumstance?
Maybe his sister. He's really close to his oldest sister. But my personal feelings are that is not my cross to bear. And because this is such a large part of who he is, I mean, this is not all that he is, I feel like it would be unfair for me to share something that he didn't feel like he could share this whole time. And so I'm going to share it and I'm going to leave? Like, that's not cool.
Right, and then leave him all to take the backlash. Right?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be fair.
So...
what was your motive behind wanting to tell the family? Was it subconsciously a personal motive so that the stress wouldn't be on you so much? Or would it be to kind of get it over with already and then...
Yeah, more of that.
More of that,
I'm
more of the latter.
Oh God, this is so stupid. Like, I mean, but yeah, it's just like, okay, come on, let's just do this. But I don't walk in his shoes, so I have my own anxieties, but I can't understand his anxieties. I can empathize, but I definitely don't feel the same type of anxiety that he does. So, like I said, it's his cross to bear, and his decision, and his timing, his words,
Mhm.
not my words.
Correct. Now, yeah, you said that, it's his anxiety, but obviously your anxiety has gone up in the last year. Your stress, that this secret sounds like it's starting to weigh on you more this past year than it has the 10 years. I'm curious, has anything happened in addition to this situation compounding in the last year? Was there a separate incident that happened that maybe played into this?
Well, one of my best friends,
Mm-hmm.
she's been married for like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
She just had a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I want kids. Yeah.
Okay. So, in this whole situation, so your friend having a kid, your close friend,
Mm-hmm.
kind of made another light bulb go off.
Mm-hmm.
One not so as pleasant, that I'm married to a homosexual man who I have absolutely zero chance of having children with.
Yeah.
And that has contributed to the stress and the anxiety, because you feel like not only is he getting older, but you are too.
Mm-hmm.
So you would like to meet a gentleman.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, no, I just said getting older, but just making sure that you have your personal needs met
Mm-hmm.
for a family and future plans and what you want as a young woman. So let's talk a little bit more about that. In this situation, now granted, I know you two are married, but has he been seeing guys during this time, like dating?
Not up until the last year.
Not up until the Italy trip?
Uh-huh.
Okay, now since he hasn't, have you been following suit and actually playing married in your head? Have you been seeing any guys or trying to?
I've gone on maybe like 3 dates.
It just didn't work out?
Yeah, just because the situation is complicated.
And because you're in your home state, you're in your
Yeah,
hometown. If somebody could see you, like you said, because I remember you saying it's a big city, but it's smaller than people think. So if you go out somewhere and somebody sees you, who knows how fast he can get back to his family? So I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind. He would have to act like he did for the sake of the marriage on the surface, but he'd be like, well, I like men, so does she. So, but I understand how that could be a little messy if you were to even consider dating. Did any of those 3 dates go well? Did you find any interest in any of these gentlemen?
Well, there were 2. So one person had a second date.
Oh, okay.
But yes, actually.
And what came of that?
I just said it wasn't the right time, and because I'm working and looking to relocate.
And what was the real reason?
It's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much. That's a lot of baggage
It
to
is.
like throw on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually I know that I'm going to have to throw it on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to make sure it's like clear.
Yeah, if I'm going to throw baggage on him, at least make sure they're zipped up.
Yeah, zip locked up, ready to go.
Yep.
So I don't want
I have it, you don't have to look at it.
Right.
Okay.
Just
Fair
put it in
enough.
the closet.
I totally understand, and if I was in the same situation, would want the same outcome. So it sounds like maybe a little part of you would want to relocate to get to see what's out there as well for yourself, which is totally fair, because I've always been a personal advocate that if you're looking for love for yourself, that's probably the least selfish thing you could do. Because although you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for a greater purpose of yourself. You're doing it for future kids. You're doing it for a future husband or relationship, for a future partner. So I can understand inside with you on wanting, to find love. True, genuine love that doesn't have to be kept a secret, that doesn't have to be, that doesn't have to have a mask placed over it or a cloak of illusion. So I agree with you and definitely commend you wanting to get a fresh start for what some would consider personal or selfish reasons, but I don't. You're just doing it to continue on life and fulfill it to as much as you can. So in the coming sessions, I think we found a starting point to how to try to figure this out, and I think it would greatly help if he were to agree to come in, so then we could get his take on the situation and see what stress we could alleviate for him, because that would directly alleviate stress from you, because you two are one and the same in this situation. So did you have anything else before we wrap up this first session that you wanted to talk about?
No.
Or touch on? Well, thanks again, Mia. I wanted to thank you again for coming in today and sharing what you did, and hopefully in the coming sessions be able to figure this thing out.
Thank you.
All right.